What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bringing incredible guests from all over the world. So sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is an author. Not only just an author, but he's a poet as well. An entrepreneur, founder of the Pretzel Twister, and an avid fisherman. Please welcome Bob Gonzalez. Bob, welcome to the show.
Hello, Deanna. How are you?
I am good. It's a beautiful day. It's a good day to have a good day, right? So
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear a little bit about your journey as a fisherman and an author, but more importantly, as a poet, because those are some things that and the poem on your front page of your website is actually very beautiful. So I kind of want to hear a little bit about what inspired you to be a poet and become an author.
Well, I used to have a friend, actually, her name was Deanna too, and I wrote poems. Actually, one of them was called Indiana, from the state of Indiana.
There you go.
So that's how I started. And then a little bit after that, I wanted to write a book about my experiences on the ocean, which I really loved. So I wanted to get them all down in a book. I thought people would enjoy the stories that I had to tell. And so far, so good. People seem to really enjoy it. I've gotten some terrific feedback on the book, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So you were writing 2 books now, right? You have 2 books?
Yeah, 2 books. Yeah, this is my second one, A Flicker in the Water.
Yeah.
I'll show you this is what the cover looks like here.
Yep.
And
so that's a story, but it also has a few poems in it.
It's got a few poems in it, yeah, but it's a collection of stories. A lot of the stories are my own, not all of them, but a lot of them. We also talk about the histories in the ocean and what really the oceans do for man, throughout history, and what the fish mean too.
Yeah.
Fish have been in here on our planet even longer than we have. So I gave them their just due in the book.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about, you have, I love the water too. I would be by the water all day long if I could. So you have a love for fishing, you have a love for the ocean. And so tell us a little bit about that and how it moves you and how it's inspired you.
Well, when you're out on the ocean, there's a calmness and a sense of feeling that one with nature that I get. And I think most people probably get that. Most of our planet is covered in water. So when you're out there, you really feel connected, especially you connected to our creator, actually. And it's just a feeling that comes over you that I don't think you can get on land. At least I can't.
Yeah, I can relate to that because it's very beautiful. It's very serene. And I'm just scared of sharks. I do not want to be eaten by a shark. No, thank you. Have you ever come across some big whales or sharks or anything when you're out there?
Well, we've caught a few big sharks, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've never come across one while I've been swimming or anything, and I hope that never happens. But yeah, we've caught a few. We caught a big bull shark one time, and tiger sharks, mako sharks, all of those.
Oh, wow. And then do you keep those or you throw them back?
Well, we've let go some, and other ones like mako shark is very, very good. The fish markets love those. They're very desirable in the restaurants.
That's cool. Okay, so you've sold some of your fish that you've caught.
Yeah.
So where do you find the time? So I know I'm an entrepreneur and I know what it's like running a business and, but where did you find the time running your pretzel shop and writing a book?
Well, it's been a 30-year span. So I started the business in 1994.
Okay.
And I started fishing in about 97.
Oh, wow.
And then I wrote the book in 2022. So it's been a long drawn up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the name of the boat though that we fished on was called the Twister. It was named after the Pretzel Twister, which is the pretzel shop that I run.
Okay. Very cool. I love how it's all connected, but you didn't always live in Florida, right?
No, I grew up in Pennsylvania, in northeastern Pennsylvania, near the Pocono Mountains. And we used to freshwater fish up there and whitetail deer hunt. In the summers, I would go to New Jersey. We'd fish for bluefish in the summertime and cod in the winter.
Okay.
And it was when I moved to Florida, though, when I really started fishing all the time. Destin, where I fished, is known as the world's luckiest fishing village. We're up here in the Panhandle on the Gulf of Mexico,
Yeah.
and it's known as the world's luckiest fishing village. And I started fishing it every single day. I was going and then I made those stories into the book. I also have some experiences in the Keys too that are in there, and in the Bahamas.
Oh, very
So you'll enjoy those. Yeah.
So, did you did you start writing your poems before you wrote that book, before you released it? Like, because like I said to you before we started recording, I have like hundreds of poems from when I was a teenager till probably, I mean, I haven't written recently, but for maybe the last year or so, just a collection of them over 30 years maybe. So, when did you start writing poems?
I started writing poems a couple of years ago. For the book, I had two of them, I think, already written that I said, you know what, let me put these in here.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the one you were talking about that's on my webpage, I did that one as I went. I made that one up. Yeah. Yeah, that one was as the book was going. I wrote that one.
Very talented.
But there are two. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have it handy? Can you read it to us really quick?
Let me get it up here for you. A flicker in the water inside the tails. An ocean water's shimmery flicker is not only good for the soul, but also the good heart's ticker. Through a rough or a calm sea, the ebb and flow of every wave reaching every boat's bow unlocks the mysteries of the heart's key. Even if the sea is not necessarily your cup of tea, it sure as heck inspires not only the fisherman, but also the poet in me. Fishermen and sailors new and old enjoy a sip of their red iced tea brewed cold. Lovers of the sea are often found deep in the ocean out of sight, sometimes in the dark of night, where only the moon and the stars provide any shining light, luckily and happily keeping their hands on the line with the fish held tight.
I love it. Yeah,
Thanks.
I like it. What's the word I'm looking for? I think that it can touch anyone's heart, and they can kind of get a sense of what that means to you, what it's like to be out in the water.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you feel like you're out there.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's what it does. I loved it. I was reading. I'm like, ooh, I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
That makes me want to get on our boat and be like, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's be something.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So, what's next for you?
Well, I have a fishing trip scheduled September 16th, so maybe I'll have to come back and tell you what happens then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And after that, I think I'm writing, continually writing things. So I'm writing a lot about baseball. I have some, not poems, but some history of the major league franchises.
Okay.
So that I'm working on that now, but that's still a couple years down the road.
Yeah.
And maybe some comedy too, because I like comedy. There's some laughs in the book too, people might like.
Oh yeah. About what?
Yeah. Well, I talk about Popeye the Sailor Man.
Okay. I like that.
And I one of the quotes in the book was, we called this guy Keith, a friend of ours. We called him a weekly fisherman because everywhere he went, they would tell him, "Oh, you should have been here last week. Oh, they're supposed to be coming through next week."
Yeah.
So he's thinking, "What about right now?"
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's funny. You talk about, you might write something about when you were hunting for white-tailed deer. Is that what you said?
Yeah. We used to hunt for deer in Pennsylvania. That was the sport of choice back then up there. And there are a lot of stories I can put into a book about that. I think people might like to.
Oh, I bet. Is there any similarities between fishing and hunting?
Well, patience. It's not always going to go your way, but when you're hunting or fishing, sometimes the fish cooperate. Sometimes they don't. You just have to, persist through the pain. And the same with hunting. You could be out in the woods sometimes for days at a time without seeing anything. And then all of a sudden you might see a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So that you have to put your time in.
Yeah, I would agree. Patience. It's like playing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
There are certain things in life that you can do that can teach you patience. What's one thing that you would like people to get out of reading your book?
I'd like to get them to understand what our oceans mean, what they do for us as people. 2/3 of our planet is covered in water, and actually the fish have been here longer than we have, so they should be treated with respect, and the ocean should be treated with respect. And it's really where we come from. So I want people to enjoy being out there and be safe at all times.
Well, yeah, you got definitely it's a big body of water. You can't mess with Mother Nature. Like,
I have another little line in the book too. Want me to tell you that one?
yeah, let's hear it.
From The Old Man and the Sea, Ernest Hemingway said, everything about him was old except for his eyes, which were the same color as the sea, and they were cheerful and undefeated. So I wrote, neither fisherman or fish goes through a full season undefeated unless you're the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
There you go. That's good. I'm not a sports person, but I'm assuming most people that are going to get that. Well, very cool. Where can people find you, connect with you, and learn a little bit more about you and purchasing your books?
Well, I have a website, flickerinthewater.com, with no A, just flickerinthewater.com. And on there's a lot of interesting things you can read and look about. And there's things in there that are not in the book, but the links to the book are there too. There's Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all that. My email is there. And there's like different sections where you can look up stuff about facts about the ocean, how the book came about, that sort of thing. And I'm also wherever books are sold, Goodreads, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. But the one-stop shop is the website, flickerinthewater.com.
Perfect. You guys, and then what about your social media handles? Can you share those with us as well?
I'm on Twitter, Bob Gonzalez with a Z. I'm also on Facebook, Flicker in the Water also, and Instagram, Flicker in the Water.
Perfect. You guys, I'm going to put those links in the show notes, so don't hesitate to go click those links if you connect with Bob and are a fisherman yourself and want to support him, purchase the book, and learn a little bit more about the ocean. Go ahead and click those links. Go follow him on social and give him some support. Bob, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Enjoy yourself. Have fun out on the water and be safe.
That's it.
Enjoy it. They're meant to be enjoyed. You know, there's a lot of fun to be had, but there's also patience, and there's lessons you can learn from being out on the water. Connect to your soul and dig deep down and reach for the stars.
There we go. I like that, Bob. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. It sounds like you have found another path for yourself in life that is not only touching your soul, but it's touching others in doing it within something that you love to do. So I think
you want to hear another quick little story.
Yeah, let's share it. Go ahead.
Over my shoulder, actually this shoulder, you see that fish over there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a red snapper. I had that mounted. It was a 42-pound red snapper, which was 3 pounds shy of the state record.
Okay. Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I caught a few red snappers. We both did, and they were too small. We had to throw them back.
Oh, yeah. They have list size. Yeah. That's an extraordinary one. You don't get those every day. Yeah, that's for sure.
And how long did it take you to get that up? Because it's a fight in the water.
Oh, yeah.
They're small.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, kind of take your time and, so how long did it take you to get that?
This one took about 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It made a couple of runs. We would get it up and it would make a run, get it up again, make another run. Until finally it came up. It looked like a big beach ball coming up out of the water. It was bloated.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for how difficult it was going to be to like pull up just a tiny little fish. Cause you're not very big.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's amazing how strong they are. It really is. They have to be hardy to be out to survive out there in the ocean. You have to be tough.
What is okay, here, I asked you for last words of wisdom or advice, but what is some last words of fisherman advice you'd want to leave with someone who maybe is just getting into fishing or has been doing fishing for a little bit that maybe they don't know or,
If you're going to be fishing and if you want to catch some nice fish, well, first of all, you have to put the time in. But then second of all, and this is even more important, is when you do it, make sure everything that you can control is taken care of. Make sure all the knots are wound the right way. Make sure all the hooks are set the right way, the reels, the drags, everything. You don't want to go out there and have something that you could have controlled go wrong, because once it goes wrong, that fish is not going to come back. So sometimes you only get one chance and you have to make it count.
Oh, yeah.
Be ready.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Fishing is good. I really like it. I'll be doing it again. Well, Bob, thank you so much for being on the show today, sharing your story. Looking forward to hearing about your second book and more fishing stories from you. So we look forward to getting an update of your trip in September. So
all right, Deanna, sounds good. Thank you.
you're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.